Hi, I'm Dan Rome, the author of The Back of the Napkin, and I'd like to show a pictorial problem with you today called the bonus battle. A couple of weeks ago, I was in New York. I was meeting an investment bank. They said to me, Dan, we have a big problem. Although we've had a super profitable year, everybody hates us. The American public, they hate us. The media, they hate us. Even President Obama, who used to love us, even he hates us now. Why might this be? I said, well, I believe we can solve problems with pictures, so let's look at some pictures. The first picture we have to start with is a picture of TARP. If you remember back to the year 2008, $700 billion given by Secretary of the Treasury Hank Paulson in those days to help bail out the American economy. Of that $700 billion, about $250 billion went to banks, and most of that went to 6 banks. Citibank got $45 billion. Bank of America got $45 billion. JP Morgan Chase got $25 billion. Wells Fargo, $25 billion. Goldman Sachs, $10 billion. Morgan Stanley, $10 billion. But the good news was they got the money, they used it, and they were able to pay it back. These banks are very happy because they were able to pay back all their money. But the president is really mad. And in fact, there's about $120 billion out of TARP that's likely never to be collected back because it went to companies like AIG or General Motors, never coming back. The president is saying, banks, I'm so mad at you, I want you to pay back all of this money as well. Well, now let's think about that for a moment. Why would he want to do that? Why is he so upset? Let's think about the profitability of the Wall Street banks in the year 2009. Terrible year for the economy. The economy's down, unemployment is up. Do you know how much money the banks made in profit in 2009? $60 billion. That's a record profit. The closest they've ever come was in the year 2000. They had a profit of $25 billion. Enormous amount of money. So let's ask ourselves, how is it possible in such a bad economy for Wall Street to be so profitable? Well, there's 2 reasons. Number one, revenue has gone up in the year 2009 because there's been a lot of activity, a lot of mergers and acquisitions, a lot of bankruptcy activity, a lot of borrowing. And the other side of that equation is costs have been down. Costs for investment banks, for Wall Street, really come from 2 places. The percent interest rate that they have to pay, and that's been kept down, and staffing costs. And guess what? They've been cutting staff left and right. Revenue up, costs down, highly profitable. That's okay. No one should really be too mad about that, I suppose. But let's think about bonuses. How much do you think in 2009 the banks are going to be paying themselves from their $60 billion in profit in bonuses? Do we think they're going to be paying half of that? Maybe 2/3 of that? No. You know how much the banks are going to pay themselves this year for bonuses for 2009? $90 billion. Now we begin to see why the president and the American public are so mad. How is it that they're able to pay $90 billion in bonuses when they didn't even make that much money? Because bonuses aren't calculated on profit. Bonuses for Wall Street are calculated on total revenue. So look at Citibank for a moment. Citibank earned revenue of $115 billion in 2009, but lost $11 billion. Not a profitable year. Still paying themselves record bonuses. So as I was talking to this investment bank, I said, the picture that I would draw to help you solve this problem is very simple. Simply take less money. And then we'll see what the American public and the president think about your bonuses.